I was thinking about reintroducing, let's say, properly insight practice. And why? Because, of course, we can use meditation for well-being, I would say, for a calm mind, to get a calm mind. But if we are here, I suppose we want to develop the path, which is developing the virtues, Sila, developing concentration, samadhi, and developing panna, wisdom, understanding. And is the wisdom understanding can be, well, we have to, according to the Buddha's teachings, well, to develop wisdom, insight practice. So I was thinking of introducing it in over 2 classes. And the first part would be now. Because, of course, we have to develop mindfulness, right mindfulness. And I've realized also for myself that somehow after a while of practice, several weeks, months, maybe years, say, okay, I'm mindful. I'm mindful of all the time. All right. Maybe because we do not realize the gaps in our mindfulness over daily life. We do not realize because of ignorance that the next maybe 30 seconds or 1 minute when we move from one room to the other room, that we were mindful. We weren't mindful at all. Because it's really a moment to moment attention that we have to develop. Or we have the tendency maybe to see just the beginning of arising of things and then just skip to another thing and then forget and then come back. And then we do not realize that there is a lot of mind processes going on in between 2 moments of mindfulness. And because also after a while of practice, I don't know, maybe we have also the tendency to want to, I don't know, have more elaborated practices, and just to, we do not realize that the basics are the most important practice. I would say that the practice itself doesn't change, only the understandings in the nature of phenomena just change and develops over time. So we are back today with the rising and falling of the belly, of the abdomen. Why? Because it would be the anchor for the insight practice, and we will start by calming the mind with using the belly. And because it's kind of how to explain that? it's subtle, but there is a tendency to just notice the beginning, and then if we really want to develop attention, there might be this tendency to see the beginning of the movement of the abdomen and then ignore the rest, and then the mind will just think of something without realizing it, and then maybe there is gross folding of the abdomen. Maybe only the mind will catch it up when it's almost down, without having a continuous folding of the movement of the rising and falling of the abdomen. There was also I remember this morning, this simile of the Buddha. So he used the simile of the saw. The saw is this tool that you use to cut a log of wood, all right, into pieces. And he said that the intention and the attention has to be, I have to remember correctly because it's very, very precise simile. There are 3 parts or something. So I will just, not very in detail, talk about it. But he said that somehow you have to be, when you saw a log of wood, you have to be very cautious of what you are doing, especially at the beginning when there is no, how to say that in English? When there is no groove yet. Yeah, groove yet. So you first have to bring the tool in contact with the log, right? So this is when you put your attention on the belly movement, let's say. And then you have to pay attention and to go slowly, not too strong, not too soft, in order to start to make that groove. And you have to pay very much attention because, sometimes the tool, the saw can rip. So especially if you have your head holding the piece of wood and then the saw just the side, then you have to really put attention because you can hurt yourself, right? And when you do that, if you have ever done it, then you have to be really like that the world actually doesn't exist, but just these few centimeters of matter of wood. When you are cutting, start to cut it. And because it's a bit dangerous, and because you need a kind of precision, and because also you need, let's say, constant application, then you stay there, right? And you do not just pay attention when you start cutting or when you remove the saw. You pay attention really, like going forward, going backward, going forward, going backward, and then this small groove starts to form, that start to be shaped, and then all right, then there is no danger for the saw to rip, to move away. So then you can relax a bit, but still you keep actually moving, and you keep your attention forward, backward, forward, backward, and every millimeter, right? So every millisecond you keep your attention there, because you also have to apply the right, let's say, the right pressure on the wood in order to cut it, because if you relax, then you won't cut anything. You will just move the tool. And if you go too strongly, maybe you will start to hurt yourself or to apply too much tension, and therefore it would be even very big one, then you won't go through because you will be very tired, so you will have to stop, and maybe never finish the work because you hurt yourself. So you have to apply the right pressure. So, and oftentimes we say, okay, rising and falling of the belly, attention on the belly, on the breathing, or easy. I've done it 1,000 hours of meditation. I know. But the more you want to understand the subtleties, well, the reality, or let's say what's going on in your experience in the meditation, then you really have to refine your mindfulness. And especially if you do not practice all day long, or just I don't know, 1 hour a day or something like this, then it might be difficult to have a very sharp mind in a short moment, and then to do insight practice. So usually we say, okay, rising and falling of the belly, I know, and then you might not see many, let's say, progress in the understanding in your practice, because you're okay, there is the breath, and then the mind wanders, and then the minds come back, and then maybe a kind of foggy attention on the breath, and then the mind starts wandering again, and so on. And then you can go like this for 20 years. Because the attention has to be on the contact between the saw and the log of wood, and for a certain amount of time, to get access concentration. It's not like boop, beep, come back. But this will happen, of course. But with training, we want to be focused in the I'm there. Attention is there. Again, every millimeter, right? So this is what I'm inviting you to do now. So I'm showing on the screen. So we can focus on the rising and falling of the belly. Okay. Of course, when you inhale, the belly will move, will seems to inflate, and when the belly, when you exhale, it will feel like it's emptying. It's just the diaphragm moving, but it feels like rising and falling. And every time that the belly is rising, you can make a mental note rising. When it's falling, you can make a mental note falling, right? So there will not be much guidance. Let's do it for 20 minutes, just for you to have a clue. And then if you have any questions, you can ask. Yeah. So I do not have the bell with me, so I cannot ring the bell. But this is the instructions. Then when the belly is inflating, You notice rising, 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 and when it's deflating, you notice falling, 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 falling. And you pay attention to that movement from the rising of the rising, middle, and then when it's falling, you really follow. You put your attention on the belly and you really follow when it's going down. If the mind wanders, doesn't matter, you bring it, well, when it's brought back, then you go and down again. The entire movement of the belly. All right. And you will see that the moment where there is this change of direction, let's say, then the mind has the tendency to wander there. So when it stops, then usually something, the minds try to get something else or get somewhere. So, and this is where you can get lost. So pay attention to that moment. Yeah, it's gonna change. Maybe it's gonna change. Stay, going back. All right, and then and so on. All right, if it's clear, we can start now. I will just from time to time remind you to go back to the belly, and if you are very focused, then just ignore what I'm saying. Right. So for the posture, as usual, yeah, a posture that allows you to stay alert for a certain moment of time, to be to have a straight spine. So better to not lean on the wall straight, either cross-legged on a cushion or on a chair. And if you have difficulty to really let's say feel the sensation of the moving belly, then you can put your hands, if you're really the beginning of the practice. Otherwise, you can put your hands on your lap like this, comfortably. You can use this mudra if you like, just like this. All right, so let's start. You can close your eyes. And focus on your belly area, on the sensation inside, sensation of pressure. And you keep your attention on the movement of the belly. And you can note mentally when it's rising, rising, when it's falling, falling. And if the mind wanders, you just, when it's back, you say, oh, and put your attention back on the movement of the belly. You stay with the sensations, not with thinking about the sensations. And if the mind wanders, you just bring it back. Follow the sensations every seconds, milliseconds, nanoseconds. Every moment you stay with the sensations of the breath. Every moment without skipping any moment. You stay there with the sensations in the belly area. All the way through inflating, all the way through deflating. With a relaxed mind, but not too relaxed. Do not skip any moment. Check if you are with the belly or if you are with your mind. If you are not with the belly, you come back to the sensations in the belly area. You stay from the beginning to the end of the rising and from beginning to the end of the falling. And if the mind wanders, you bring it back into the sensations of the belly area. Gently, gently. Go back to the sensation of the body over and over again. And slowly, 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 when you are ready, you can very slowly come out of your meditation practice. You can expand your awareness to the entire body first. Start to move a little bit. It's possible that the mind body just want to stay there and stay in this meditative state. If the case, please just notice it and open your eyes. So you might have noticed maybe in your practice that there is this moment where you are feeling the feelings, let's say the sensations of the body, and there might be a subtle shift when you start to no longer feeling the body but thinking about feeling the body. It's not really a thinking like, oh, I'm thinking about the body. It's not this inner, it might not be this inner narrative, but at some point it's no longer uh, let's say tactile consciousness, but it's mind consciousness. So there might be this shift, and then at some point when the mind experiences itself and no longer the sensations of the body, then it might start to wander at some point. And then after a while, oh, put the breath, come back. Maybe because you are prompted by what my instructions, when I say come back, then you realize, okay, let's come back. And then somehow, because there is nothing about those sensations really, they are kind of not very exciting. So because there is this lack of excitement in the experience, then the mind starts to want something, build up something, dream about something. There is there is something more interesting than just a sensation in the body. So there might be some memories coming back, something to think about, planning for the future, and so on. right? Because there is really nothing to get about just looking at putting the attention quite every seconds, every milliseconds. You do not get, you think you don't get anything from that. Even maybe experiencing the thinking about our own pain might be more exciting than looking at the um, sorry, that those tactile sensations, right? And this is really this continuous putting the mind onto the arising and falling, the rising and falling of the belly. This action of coming for a certain moment of time, continuously there, that will bring actually the mind through what we call access concentration, and then concentration really. And actually this is a training. The more you do it, the more it will come quicker. Well, of course it will depend on what you have done during the day as well, because most of the practice also is out of the cushion. Though it's not also easy to get concentrated, or if the rest of the time of cushion, then there is no paying attention, or even no respecting the precepts, or even no just indulging in every kind of sensual desires, right? Then you can come back to the to the sitting cushion, trying to really, let's say, be present every seconds. There are chances that it doesn't work. So I've said that repeatedly. It's not only the formal practice, it's also the time around that. And we spend what, between 1 to 4 hours a day on the sitting cushion, so it's a lot of time doing something else. But this time spent doing something else is as important as the formal practice. All right. So of course, what we have done there with the belly, so what you can do also in the daily practice is that every time you move, of course you stay with the movement, right? But I will introduce that again next time. All right. When you sit, you can train also to every many seconds of the movement going up, you stay there, and just you can say to yourself, to really mental note, standing, 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 and you can slow down, and you can tell yourself, oh, I'm gonna stand, oh, let's try. Then you can make it a play. Okay, let's try to what is it, how is it to really stand and be there? Of course, standing, it's just we have been doing that for 40, 50, 20 years, I don't know, like 100 times a day. There is nothing interesting in standing, standing, standing. There is just standing up. There is just moving, feeling, tactile sensation, hearing, feeling, thinking, just standing, the movement. This you can train. So I said again, this is the most basic practice, but there is nothing else than that. There is nothing else than that. When you move, moving, 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 then the liquid goes inside. Then you might feel coolness. You can notice coolness, coolness, and then swallowing, swallowing, swallowing. Tasting, tasting, tasting. There is kind of nothing else than the six senses. That's what there is, this direct experience. Then what we think about, what we elaborate, what we fabricate, what we imagine. We want to make life something different than actually what is, which is the direct experience through the six senses. So this is why the training is very, very, very simple. We say be mindful all the time, right? So we start with we simplify things. We close our eyes and sit, or we do walking meditation. Walking meditation is also this: when you lift up the foot, you notice that you're lifting the foot. Move the foot, you notice, mentally noting, moving, moving, landing the foot, and again. And you stay with the sensation in the sole of the foot. And you do walking meditation for 1 hour. Just that. And this is such simple instruction, but somehow I don't want to spoil the practice, but you can understand a lot. This understanding, this developing of wisdom, you do not have to read complicated things, complicated sutras. Just by this movement and staying with that, I mean, you can have quite an insight in the three characteristics of existence, in impermanence, just by walking and staying with the feet, with the foot. In non-self and in satisfactoriness. Not as a concept, but as, direct understanding. So over time, the instructions won't change. Of course, we can go. We can also practice the jhanas, the higher levels of consciousness, and then we can also develop the mind, being it very expanded. Those are also quite interesting experiences, but they are not necessary. We can also get attached to these states of expansion of the mind. And infinite mind is not the end of it. Actually, there are other levels. And the more you let go, actually, the more the mind gets in those expansive, infinite space. There is one level of consciousness that is called, which is called infinite space. Then next one, infinite consciousness. The next one, nothingness. Then again, neither perception nor non-perception. The formless. So this is when the mind starts to experience itself, and the body has completely disappeared. And so they might be interested too. But you have to get out of those states in order to start inquiring. And there is this, if I remember correctly, I do not have good memory, but there is this after the Buddha got enlightened, and he wanted to say, okay, who would understand what I've discovered? So he went back to his teachers, who actually taught him those kind of Jhanas levels, higher level of consciousness, it's called. And so one of her teacher or ascetic friend actually had died between that time. So he had to we say, okay, then I will reach him. And this was one of these practitioners who were able actually to go to these higher levels of consciousness. And the highest one, highest jhana, the 8th jhana, formless jhanas. And but he had just died the day before the Buddha decided to get there. So it is said that this man, this yogi, this meditator, who was able actually to reach those very expensive, very refined state of mind, was actually reborn in one of these realms that you can access if during your lifetime you were able to access this level of consciousness. And when you are reborn there, you stay there for just long time, like thousands and thousands of years. It's very refined. You do not have any body, but you do not have access to the Dhamma. You do not have access to teaching. You do not have access to the development of wisdom. So you will have to spend times there 60,000 years, and then when the karma is how to say that, used, then you come back to maybe lower realms and be reborn there, maybe as a human, and then maybe you have the chance again to hear the Dhamma, develop wisdom, and get liberated. But those very refined levels of consciousness that you can achieve during meditation, they will not only allow you to to get liberated. So you might spend 60,000 of years before coming back and being able to hear the Dhamma. So development of wisdom is crucial. That was my point. So developing the mind, training the mind is right concentration, but it's not the end of the story, let's say. It's not all part of the training. All right, that was today's talk. Thank you for your attention, for your practice. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Also about the practice that we did together today, or about the practice that you've been doing till last time we've seen each other. And otherwise, please feel free to leave anytime. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for your practice.